Respect is something that cannot be forced, demanded, or begged for. It is something that is naturally earned through the way we live our lives and the choices we make every single day. People don't respect others simply because they ask for it. They respect those who show qualities that inspire admiration and trust. Your actions, your character, and your consistency speak louder than any request for respect ever could. This is why it is often said that respect comes from actions, not demands. When someone demands respect without putting in the effort to earn it, it often comes across as arrogance or insecurity. True respect is built over time and is rooted in authenticity. The way you treat people, the way you handle challenges, and the way you carry yourself in difficult situations all contribute to how others perceive you. For example, a leader who shouts and insists on being respected may get temporary obedience, but not genuine respect. On the other hand, a leader who leads by example, shows fairness, and treats people with dignity naturally earns respect that lasts. Actions create a lasting impression that words cannot. A person who demonstrates honesty, keeps their promises, and stands firm on their values sends a clear message about who they are. These consistent behaviors slowly build trust, and trust is the foundation of respect. When people know they can rely on you, when they see that your actions match your words, they cannot help but respect you, even if they don't always agree with you. Respect is also tied to humility and empathy. When you show understanding toward others, listen when they speak, and acknowledge their worth, you create an environment where mutual respect can grow. People often remember how you made them feel more than what you said, and treating others with kindness and fairness leaves an impact that words alone cannot achieve. At the same time, demanding respect often backfires. It pushes people away and creates resistance. Instead of asking for it, let your actions prove your worth. Live with integrity, keep learning, and continue to improve yourself. Over time, respect will naturally follow because people are drawn to strength, authenticity, and consistency. Ultimately, if you want respect that lasts, focus on building it through what you do, not what you demand. Self-respect is the starting point for gaining the respect of others, because if you don't value yourself, it becomes difficult for anyone else to truly value you. The way you see and treat yourself sets the tone for how people around you will treat you. When you have self-respect, you naturally carry yourself with confidence, dignity, and strength, and this energy communicates to others that you deserve to be treated with the same regard. Without self-respect, people often fall into the trap of accepting less than they deserve, whether it is in relationships, at work, or in friendships, because they have not yet realized their own worth. Building self-respect starts with the choices you make for yourself. It means setting healthy boundaries and not allowing others to take advantage of your kindness or weakness. When you respect yourself, you say no to situations, people, or habits that diminish your value. You learn that walking away from disrespect is not a loss, but a sign of strength. Self-respect also means treating your own mind and body with care, making time to grow, learn, and stay disciplined in the pursuit of your goals. When you invest in yourself, you are sending a message to the world that you are worthy of time, effort, and respect. Another important aspect of self-respect is the way you speak to yourself. Many people undermine their worth with negative self-talk, constant self-doubt, or by comparing themselves to others. Respecting yourself means recognizing your strength, appreciating your progress, and being patient with your journey. Nobody is perfect, but a person who believes in their own value inspires others to see that value as well. People are drawn to those who radiate confidence without arrogance, and that confidence can only come from within. Self-respect is not about being selfish or thinking you are better than others. It is about knowing your worth without having to prove it. When you stand tall in who you are and what you believe in, people will naturally respond to that strength. The foundation of all meaningful respect starts inside you. If you respect yourself, you will not tolerate disrespect from others, and you won't feel the need to beg for validation. Instead, you will attract relationships and opportunities that reflect the value you place on yourself. In the end, the way you respect yourself teaches others how to respect you. Respect must always be mutual, because one-sided respect cannot survive in the long run. A relationship, whether personal, professional, or social, cannot be healthy if only one person is showing value, care, and consideration while the other person ignores or disrespects those efforts. True respect is built when both sides recognize each other's worth and treat each other with fairness. When respect flows both ways, it creates trust, strengthens bonds, and fosters an environment where people feel safe, valued, and motivated. Mutual respect begins with acknowledgement. It is not about agreeing on everything, but about recognizing the other person's right to their opinions, feelings, and individuality. Even in disagreements, respect allows space for healthy dialogue without belittling or insulting the other. For example, in a workplace, a manager may have authority, but respect is not earned by position alone. It is earned by treating employees with fairness and dignity. Similarly, employees are also expected to respect their leaders by being responsible, professional, and cooperative. The balance of respect from both sides keeps the environment positive and productive. One-sided respect, on the other hand, leads to frustration and resentment. If you constantly give respect to someone who refuses to value you in return, you begin to feel drained and unappreciated. That is why it is important to evaluate your relationships. If respect is not mutual, then the relationship is unbalanced and, over time, harmful. Respect must be earned by both parties, not demanded by one and given blindly by the other. Mutual respect also involves empathy. When you make an effort to understand where someone is coming from, even if you do not agree with them, you are showing them respect. In return, when they try to understand you, that empathy strengthens the connection. Respect becomes the bridge that allows people to work together, support one another, and grow together. Without that balance, any connection, whether friendship, family bond, or partnership, will eventually collapse. Ultimately, mutual respect is a choice. It requires effort, patience, and sincerity from both sides. It means you give respect not just to get it back, but because it is the right thing to do. Yet, at the same time, you must not stay where your respect is constantly ignored. A strong and healthy relationship will always have a foundation of equal respect. If it is missing, then the relationship is not worth holding on to. Chasing approval is one of the biggest traps that prevents people from living freely and confidently. When your worth depends on what others think of you, you give them control over your happiness. The truth is, no matter how hard you try, you will never please everyone. Some people will always criticize, misunderstand, or judge you, and if you spend your life trying to win their approval, you will lose sight of who you truly are. That is why it is so important to stop chasing approval and start focusing on living according to your own values. Seeking approval often comes from insecurity or fear of rejection. People think that if others accept them, it will make them feel complete. But this mindset only leads to disappointment because external validation is temporary. You may get praise today, but tomorrow the same people could criticize you. If your self-worth depends on their opinions, your confidence will always rise and fall like a wave. Real strength comes from knowing your value even when nobody acknowledges it. When you stop chasing approval, you gain freedom. You no longer need to adjust your personality, compromise your beliefs, or suppress your voice just to fit into someone else's expectations. Instead, you begin to live authentically. People may or may not like it, but they will respect your honesty and courage. More importantly, you will respect yourself because you are no longer living a life of constant performance for others. It is also worth remembering that those who truly care about you will not require you to earn their approval. They will appreciate you for who you are, with your strengths and flaws. The ones who make you feel like you must constantly prove yourself are often not worth keeping in your circle. By letting go of the need to please everyone, you create space for genuine relationships built on trust and respect rather than conditional acceptance. Approval should never be the goal. Growth, authenticity, and self-respect should be. When you focus on becoming the best version of yourself, the right people will naturally recognize your value. And even if they don't, you will know deep inside that your worth is not defined by anyone else's judgment. Freedom begins the moment you stop begging for approval and start living for yourself. Walking away from disrespect is one of the strongest and most empowering decisions you can make. Many people believe that staying and fighting back is the only way to prove their worth, but in reality, the quiet act of leaving speaks louder than any argument. When you walk away from someone who refuses to treat you with dignity, you send a clear message. You value yourself too much to stay where you are not respected. It is not weakness. It is a sign of strength, maturity, and self-respect. Disrespect can appear in many forms: harsh words, constant criticism, being ignored, or being taken for granted. Often, people tolerate this behavior out of fear of losing relationships, jobs, or acceptance. But the longer you stay in an environment where disrespect is normal, the more it eats away at your confidence and self-worth. Choosing to walk away does not mean you failed. It means you recognized your value and refused to let anyone diminish it. Walking away also protects your energy. Disrespectful people thrive on control, manipulation, or negativity. Engaging with them only drains you and leaves you feeling powerless. By removing yourself from the situation, you cut off their ability to hurt you. Instead of wasting time trying to change someone who does not see your worth, you redirect that energy into people and opportunities that uplift you. Life is too short to be stuck in places where you are not valued. It is important to remember that walking away is not about revenge or proving a point. It is about choosing peace over chaos and self-respect over disrespect. Sometimes silence and distance are the most powerful responses because they show you are not desperate for approval or afraid of being alone. In fact, when people see that you have the courage to leave what does not serve you, they often realize they cannot take your presence for granted. At its core, walking away is about honoring yourself. It is about saying, I deserve better, and having the courage to follow through with that belief. The moment you decide not to accept less than respect, you raise the standard for how others must treat you. And those who truly value you will rise to meet it. Walking away is not the end, it is the beginning of surrounding yourself with the respect, peace, and love you truly deserve.